Hey y'all, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel, Cottage Hodgepodge, where I buy and resell vintage and modern items on eBay. And I find my items at thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales. So in today's video, we're going over the first week of September's sales. So that was actually August 29th through September 5th. My total sales were $245.50 and my cost of goods was $31.38. So first up, we have this CocaPelli vase. This was a vintage vase that I found at an estate sale near my house. It's Native American pottery. My description is vintage signed Native American Indian pottery CocaPelli flute round vase 5 inches. So I wanted to get all those keywords in there so depending on what people were looking for, I would have more opportunity to get this particular vase in front of people based on what they searched. So, and in my pictures you can see that it was signed on the bottom, but I couldn't read the signature, so I just put signed because I don't actually know who the artist is. I had this listed for about a month before it sold. I bought it at an estate sale. I've had a few other items in my other videos from the same estate sale where the person who bought the house bought it to flip it, and the person who had lived there left a bunch of things, and so the person who bought it was just selling those items off, which is kind of nice when there's not a lot of emotional attachment because I was able to get some really good deals. I just bundled up a bunch of things in a box and offered them $20 and they took it. So my cost of goods that day was around 50 cents per item. So this one sold for $22.80 and my cost was 50 cents. Next two items are these Panama Jack t-shirts, which were new with tags, but they are old stock. I don't think, I actually had the receipt with the date and now I can't remember what it is. I didn't put it in the description anywhere, I don't think. So this was a nice bright orange shirt and they were size 3X, which is a really great size for men's t-shirts. They're from Cancun, Cozumel, Riviera Maya, souvenir t-shirts. These were actually in the lot of scuba dive items that we bought. We bought it for ourselves. There was a few pieces of equipment that we didn't have that we wanted. So my husband bought that lot in order to keep several of the items, but then we listed a few things that we didn't need in order to help offset the cost. So these weren't necessarily purchased for making a profit on, but helped us to decrease our cost on something that we wanted, and for an auction that we were already buying things at and already, planning on going to pick those up. So that worked out nicely. So one orange and one sky blue t-shirt. You can see on this one, I put the image that was on the back as my cover picture. And on this one, I put the whole t-shirt. I actually listed this one first, and then I thought, well, maybe I should put the image. So I don't know which one caught the guy's attention first, but the same person bought them both. He sent me an offer for $20 for each of them, and then combined shipping. And so I accepted that, and that was a really good sell. So I would say on these, our costs, it's hard to really judge what our costs were on these because we kept a bunch of items from the lot, but $2 or $3 probably was our cost on these. Next up, new with tags tank top. It's lace stretchy trim on a very Y2K, reminded me of things that I wore in high school. I really liked it. I got this at the thrift store near our house where they have 45-cent day on Tuesday for all their clothing. So this one cost me 45 cents and I sold it for $8.80. So not a huge seller, but anything that has a tag on it, pretty much I pick up when I'm at that thrift store on Tuesdays. And this one, I wasn't sure if it would sell. I don't, just a tank top. I wasn't sure if it would ever find its way into somebody's search, but it did apparently. And I sold this one after it had been listed about 6 weeks for $8.80, and my cost was 45 cents. Next is another item that my husband purchased. This is a wooden bread box. It was really big, and I wasn't sure. I kind of questioned him on this one, but he knew what he was doing. It sold pretty quickly for $23, and my description was vintage large wooden bread box shaker style, top opening lift off lid, and then I have the dimensions. And so that was something that somebody was looking for apparently. And I think he paid $3 for this and sold it for $23. Next up is some Pyrex, one of my favorite things. Vintage Pyrex 472-B, Spring Blossom in the lime green color, 750 milliliter casserole with lid, and it was super bright and shiny. Bright Pyrex makes me happy. There's a few more pictures that I took of each. I always take pictures of each of the handles because that's the place you almost always get chips if there's chips on the casserole dishes. The lid was nice and clean, and it has the item number and Pyrex there on it. The lid did have a few scratches, so I put pictures of that and made sure to disclose it in the description. But overall, it was a really pretty piece, and I usually put will display well or great for everyday use. Those are kind of my keywords that I always put in my descriptions on Pyrex. I sold this one for $26.50. Okay, next is this Friar Tuck Stein. It's a vintage 1950 to 55 Goebel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Friar Tuck Monk Stein with a pewter lid, and it was made in Western Germany, and it had model number T74-3 on the bottom. My husband bought these also. He bought an entire lot of these Friar Tuck barware items from the 50s. This one was the largest piece. He paid $15 for the lot, and I think he got 8 or 9 items. This one was 7 inches tall and 4 inches wide, and you can see it's a beer stein. It's got the lid with the little thumb opener piece, and we listed it for $90 and went back and forth with this one gentleman and ended up taking his offer of $70, and that sold very quickly within a week of him listing it. Next is Nua Tags Laundry by Shelley Segal women's cross-tie dress, stretchy and in jewel tone colors, size large. This one I thought would sell quicker than it did. This was one of the very first items that I listed in the beginning of June, and it sold the first week in September. I just thought because it had tags that, I don't know why I thought it would sell faster, but I did. And size large is a good size, and I paid 45 cents for it at the thrift store, and it sold for $32.80, so that was a good profit there. I put a close-up picture of the tag. The retail price is $148. That doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. You can see how horrible my pictures are because this was one of the first times I listed. You can see the towel behind it. So that one sold for $32.80, and my cost was 45 cents. Next is another Firefighter Christmas ornament. I'm almost to the point of being pure profit on these. Actually, I think I am there now. So this one is a Crayola fire engine, and it's a Hallmark brand. So my description is Hallmark Crayon Firefighter Truck Ornament number 4 in the series. The series name was Crayola Colors Blazing, and it was from 1992, so it's a vintage item. And it's just really sweet, little Dalmatian driving the fire engine, and it has 1992 on the front, and a great little Crayola picture box. My main image is a close-up of the Dalmatian, and then it's got each 4 of the primary color crayons on the sides. So that lot of Firefighter ornaments I purchased for $75 and got almost 200 of them in total. And so my cost on each ornament ended up being 38 cents. So that was my cost of goods for this item, and I sold it for $12.80. Then last up, we have another of the berry bowls, dessert or berry bowl of the 1986 Cape Cod collection. This is Avon vintage from the 80s, ruby red glass. And I had 4 when I purchased this lot at an estate sale near my house. I purchased a giant box of Avon various items, and there were 4 of the dessert or berry bowls in them, and I've sold them all now. This was the last one to sell. So I sold that for $8.80. My cost of goods that day was about 50 cents per item. So that is my sales for the first week of September. My total was $245.50 for my total sales. My cost of goods was $31.38. So estimating, eBay fees and everything and putting money aside for taxes, usually estimate around 50%. My cost of goods was pretty low this day, so I'd say probably a little more than 50% was my actual take-home profit, but that would be around $120, $130 in profit for this week. So my profits are going up each week, and hopefully now that we're into the fall nearly and starting in the fourth quarter and holiday sales are starting, hopefully they'll just keep going up each week. So thank you for watching. If you enjoy videos of what sold each week, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and give my video a thumbs up. Thanks so much. See you next time.